You may have seen some videos on topics like, I learned Spanish in a week. And that's absurd, of course, since the only one who could actually learn a language in under a week is the OG. And even it finds it confusing sometimes. Despite all the clout and clickbait, you too may have already realized that learning a new language is no easy task. And with the ever-expanding to-do list and projects that we get ourselves into, you too may be feeling that this not being proficient in French thingy is getting a bit old by now. And of course, that begs the question, how long is it gonna take me to finish this thing? It might be tempting to picture language as a jigsaw puzzle, where you just need to get all the pieces in the right place, and you're done. But is language a puzzle that can be completed? And the answer is absolutely no. Like not even in your wildest dreams, kinda no. Languages are insanely massive and cover every aspect of reality that anyone ever cared to talk about. Now, add to that the myriad of expressions that are commonplace between some groups of people, but completely unheard of elsewhere, as well as the variation of languages through time, with new words popping up and others being forgotten every single day. And you may start to get an idea of how utterly hopeless learning 100% of a language actually is. But wait, who in the right mind actually needs to complete a language when not even native speakers have? Even in our mother tongue, we still run into words and expressions we have no idea about, all the time. But rather than have an existential crisis and huddle in a corner, we just nod and pretend nothing happened. Nobody actually questions their ability as a native speaker because of these. So in a way, not even coming close to this 100% is as native as you can get. And we all get away with this because the, 20,000 words that we do know probably cover over 99.9% of all the language that we ever really need and are exposed to. But I feel your pain. It is totally understandable to want to get rid of that learning curve because of the frustration and discomfort that you feel when you try to speak and use the language and you see that you're just not there yet. So, as an answer to this frustration, you may set some random arbitrary goal that if you achieved it, would take all those feelings away. But after making this mistake over and over again, I can tell you that this just makes it worse. Imagine that you already felt pretty comfortable using the language. Still far from perfect, but you could use it for everything you wanted. If you remain focused on such a goal, every instance of a word or expression that you didn't understand or couldn't remember would make you feel like it's still not enough. Now, if you're a beginner intermediate, then the weight of this feeling of failure will make it so painful to expose yourself to the language and make mistakes that it will probably discourage you from even trying, which is the exact opposite of what we need to improve. On the other hand, if you reject the goal of never being caught off guard by an unknown word, or never making a grammar mistake again, and instead aim to get a bit closer to that feeling of ease and comfort in the language, you could achieve your goal every day while actually developing your skill and having fun. See, I love languages, but I know that fun is not the first thing that comes to mind for most people when they think about learning one. And maybe it's true, and they genuinely don't like it. But what if this fixation with an arbitrary goal was hiding away all the fun that they could be having with the process? I know this has happened to me, and I love this stuff, so it could happen to anyone. Now, if you decide to follow my advice and change the focus of your learning towards improvement, there's still something you gotta watch out for, and that is not considering the difficulty of a particular test when assessing your level. Sounds obvious, right? But language learners do have a bias towards checking their level under ideal conditions without realizing that they're doing so. For example, measuring your conversation skills with a teacher who definitely knows how to make it accessible to you, or watching a movie that you've previously watched in your mother tongue to check how much you understand. We tend to leave these feeling like a pro, only to then crash against the reality of a normal conversation, where our level seems to have magically dropped and we end up feeling like trash. And we're probably neither trash nor a pro, and this is just the result of comparing apples to oranges. And this bias, I'd say, actually comes from being attached to the goal of finishing the language and removing all chances of friction, in which we see the language as a problem to solve. So don't forget to factor in the difficulty when measuring your progress, if you want to preserve your sanity, of course. I promise you that the process of getting there can be just as cool as being there. Don't forget to follow Languages on Fire for more awesome language learning tips. I hope you find these ideas helpful, and I will see you on the next one.